Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 15 of the Real Racquetball Show. I want to thank you for taking time to watch the show. We have several really interesting topics for this evening, so we'll just jump right in and get started on the show. If you like the show, please, if you're watching it on Facebook Live, please like and share the feed. We really appreciate it. We like to get the information out to as many people as we possibly can. And we have found and had a lot of feedback from individuals that they really enjoy this format for gaining information about upcoming topics and things that we're doing in USA Racquetball. So please like and share as much as you can. So let's jump right in. I want to welcome back a special guest we had in our last show and going to be somewhat of a regular on our show, I hope, Maurice Miller from Georgia. Hi, Maurice. How are you?
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah. Welcome back to the show. We really appreciate you coming back. Glad you enjoyed your time last time and decided to come back and chat with us some more.
Yeah, absolutely enjoyed it last time. It's good to see you again, Mike. I thought we had a lot of fun last time. Hopefully, like you said, we can keep this going.
Yeah. Good deal. So tell me what's racquetball doing in Georgia? You getting to play much there?
So racquetball in Georgia, so see, March was a shutdown. We probably closed for a good month and a half. I think by May, like mid-May, our gyms or a gym we were going to open up. So we've pretty much been wide open. We've held about 6 tournaments. I think we just held a Grand Slam in January. Yeah,
fantastic. And I know there are a lot of people across the country that are going to be really jealous of what you just said.
yeah.
A lot of clubs are struggling to get people into. And I know I watched a video today of a tournament. I don't remember exactly where it was, but people were having to wear masks while they were playing.
Might have been New Mexico, I think. Maybe.
Might
have been New Mexico.
Which I was thrilled to see them playing, but and that's tough. I know we're heading towards a more free playing across the country. So, well, that's good. All right. So our first segment for the show is absolutely my favorite segment. I really love being able to talk to people and award the Real Racquetball Champion each month. I know, Maurice, this is your first one you've got to be a part of, and it's really cool because the premise of the award is to recognize someone across the country that's doing really good things to help grow racquetball in their area. In a grassroots way, not necessarily the type of person or the individual that you hear about all the time. It's kind of the behind the scenes guy, gal that's making a difference. So we're really excited about our guest tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome him in, and we're going to chat with him a little bit about the work he's doing. Welcome to the show, Kevin Sundry from Dallas, Texas area. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
What's going on?
How are you? You absolutely, and congratulations on the being this champion. There you go.
Hey, congrats.
It's a pretty cool award.
I think that's really cool. We did a lot of work getting that put together. Those are really cool.
Yeah.
So, as I was telling Maurice, the champion is my favorite part of the show. Every month I look forward to it, and we spend a lot of time talking about the individuals that we think deserve and earn this. And we depend heavily on people to nominate those individuals because it's usually folks that we don't necessarily know. So if as our current champion, if you know of individuals that have been instrumental in racquetball or you hear about them across the country, please reach out to us and let us know who we should be nominating and working for.
Absolutely.
So Kevin, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of how you play, where you play. I've got a quote here that I'm going to read before you start that I thought was really cool. It says, "I love doing this. It's contagious. I always tell people to pass it on, and I'm seeing it start to spread." Absolutely the whole purpose of the Champion Award. So tell us a little bit about about that statement you made and kind of how your racquetball goes?
Yeah. So first of all, I'll piggyback with Maurice. I'm down here in Texas, and when the pandemic hit, I think our club started opening in May and June, and we're wide open. So yeah, and they make you wear masks coming into the clubs. Some clubs make you keep the mask on while playing, but for now we're wide open. Doubles, singles, everything. We were able to hold a tournament back in December, and so that's just the status on Dallas racquetball. Me personally, I started playing like when I was 16. Got me a scholarship through University of North Texas. Got to play there, so racquetball gave back to me there. You'll notice a theme I'm having: people giving back to me, and so that's kind of what I'm doing now. It is contagious, and so about 3 years ago, my son came to me, who's now 15. He's on the U.S. junior team, and he wanted to learn the sport. And so the whole father-son dynamic kind of is interesting at times, but he has fallen in love with the sport, dropped soccer. He was a baseball and soccer kid, dropped baseball and soccer. He's full-time racquetball, and it's a lot of fun. He's beating me now. He won't play me anymore because it gets pretty interesting in the court. But when Cole came into the sport, I was like, you know what? I need to start giving back because so many people gave back to me, and the sport has been so good to me. Some of my closest friends are racquetball players. Heck, I just got back from the club now. I can honestly say some of the closest friends I have are racquetball players. And so about a year and a half ago, I was like, okay, what can I start doing? And so I said, you know what? I'm going to start hosting tournaments. I've never done it before. Let's do it. I think I've been to enough. And what my decision was, though, I'm not going to make any money on it. I'm going to give all the money away in forms of scholarships to junior players. And we've given a scholarship. We've had 4 tournaments. We should have had 8 if it weren't for COVID. We've got one planned in April. So we've given out scholarships to Micah Farmer, who was on the U.S. junior team, Brian Barberis, who's an up-and-coming player down here. Should have been on the junior team this year, I hope, but didn't have that chance. And Shane Diaz. Shane from San Antonio, an awesome young lady down there. Y'all look out for her on the LPRT tour because she is awesome, one of my favorite human beings. And we give donations to Sandy Long. I think Sandy won this award. Sandy does more to the sport down here for the junior program. All of her time is donated, and she's addicting just on how much she gives back. And so we've been fortunate enough to give those scholarships away at those tournaments.
Wow, that is fantastic. That's
pretty cool.
Great to hear.
So Kevin, I know you said that you had started at 16. What or who drove you to play racquetball?
So my parents got me a membership to Bally's. I'll never forget it because I wanted to build muscle. And then I learned that was really boring. So my parents said, hey, you got to figure something out. We got you a 4-year membership. So I started to walk over to the racquetball courts. My dad played a little bit, and a guy there named Rob Maharis. Rob, if you're watching, shout out, buddy. Rob is from Fort Lauderdale, but he was here in Dallas. Rob is huge into outdoor racquetball now in Fort Lauderdale. But Rob took me under his wing. He's like a big brother to me. Heck, Cole's middle name is Robert, named after Rob Maharis. Wow. So that's how much he meant to me. He did everything for me, taught me how to play. He was an open player, and I'm just 16-year-old snot kid, a D player. And he was nice enough to get in the court with me and literally teach me everything I know, go to tournaments with me. And so that inspires me to give back, and that's what I'm trying to do now. So Rob Maharis, shout out, buddy.
All right.
Fantastic. That's great. Well, Kevin, it sounds like you've got the motivation and drive to get your son involved in it and others involved in it. So the scholarships that you're doing, it's a fantastic way to keep others involved. So
yeah, and I encourage everyone to do anything they can. I don't care if you're at the court and you see a kid. It's just not. I keep focusing on the juniors because that's what I like, but throw them a ball.
Yeah.
And they think that's great. You throw a 5 or 6 year old kid a racquetball, they think it's the greatest thing ever. Let them in the court, hand them your racket, let them hit. You know, another thing I've started to do at our club is I've told the manager, when you're selling memberships, we've got 5 courts. I will, or one of my buddies will give a free lesson or a clinic to your new member, just to try to introduce them to the sport. And so just anything you can do, it's so rewarding when you see everyone's reactions, especially on the scholarships or bringing people into the sport. It's addictive. And I always say, yes, pass it on. A lot of my friends have started doing things now, and it's fun. It's all volunteer, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really
awesome.
one of the most important aspects of racquetball is that it's a grassroots. It takes the people in the club to teach somebody else how to play, talk to them about the sport, how much fun you're having, how exciting it is. I get asked a lot about why is pickleball growing like a grass fire going? Well, it's simple because everybody's talking to everybody about it. It's really what is getting that going, and racquetball needs to get back to that. In the 70s, 80s, it did.
Yeah.
How I got started.
And we can. It's 5 minutes. Just take 5 minutes of your time with someone new, introducing the sport. A lot of Cole's buddies now. They're all excited to go to junior or high school nationals. I had 3 or 4 boys ready to go, and then COVID hit. But we'll get them there next year, right?
Yeah.
And these guys just get in the court. They're horrible, but they love playing. They love playing, and they're going to learn. They're athletic. If you have hand-eye coordination, we all know you can learn it.
And they can play it for their entire life. And much like what you said when you started, all of my best friends are all because of racquetball.
Yeah,
I've been playing for 30 years, and I'm still bad at it, but all of my friends my best friends are racquetball people.
Yeah, it's a great family. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm going to continue giving back. That's
fantastic. Well, Kevin, congratulations again. We really appreciate your taking the time to come on and talk about racquetball. It's absolutely applaud exactly everything you're doing. Keep up the great work. If there's ever anything we can do, please reach out to myself, Connor, Renee, anybody in USA Racquetball. We absolutely want to support you in all of your efforts.
All right. Thanks, guys.
You bet.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin.
That is fantastic, isn't it?
He does a lot. That's how, to me, that's one of the ways that you can grow. Like he's saying, just do something. Something's better than nothing. I think that's one of the most underrated parts about it. Is someone's like, well, I can't do, but just do the little bit. You never know who it can inspire.
Yep, absolutely. You just have to talk to people about it. Introduce the game to new people. Doesn't have to be juniors, but that's great if you can. But parents, high school kids, junior high, college, just introduce your buddies to it. So, but we'll get back to that. And speaking of getting back to it, Maurice, we have a special guest, and I've known this individual for a long time, back when he was playing high school racquetball in Missouri. He used to come out to the club here in Kansas City and played a bunch of tournaments. And now I get to introduce him as Dr. Brendan Giljum.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for having me. Hello.
Hello. Thank you. Appreciate you taking your time and coming on the show.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
We were, since COVID's starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. So clubs are starting to open up. People are starting to get back to playing a little bit. I know I haven't played a lot in the last several months, and I went back and played last week, and I was really sore. Got me thinking, maybe we should have someone come on that's an expert, could help everybody understand a little bit about getting back on the court and getting back to being competitive. So welcome to the show, and I'll let you kind of chat a little bit about how people can get back on a court and do it safely and not injure their arms and legs and
everything. All of it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It is an honor. I love the show. I have, as somebody who's gotten a racquetball scholarship and helped out with juniors for a long time, it's so awesome to see people like Kevin doing that work at the grassroots. Like that's inspiring. That's why I love watching this show. So I want to talk about, like you said, some of the things that we can be focusing on going forward and getting back into the racquetball court. I'll mention that what I'm going to discuss is kind of the abbreviated version of my monthly article for this month. So this will be like the TLDR, too long didn't read version of my forthcoming article here. So look for that too when that comes out. So I'll just, you guys, if at any point you have questions, then just fire them away. Otherwise, I'll just chat. Like, I know all my patients tell me I never stop talking. So that's good that you've had me on here for this. So the first thing I want to talk about, especially with such a large layoff, like what many people have had for not only racquetball, but working out or any sort of real physical activity, and a lot of people working from home and being seated and everything like that, is about deconditioning. And so what that is that it's the old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's especially true when it comes to our muscle mass and just our body's flexibility and ability to move athletically in general. And so one of the things that I say, just keep it simple at first. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to the gym or to the racquetball court, don't park right by the front door. If you're going back into the office, don't take the elevator every time. Keep it as simple as you can for starters, to start to break that process of deconditioning that has happened. And when you go grocery shopping, park a little further away. So easy. You've heard about it for forever, but it really does start to build up. Some other things that I want to talk about that I know I still sometimes tend to be guilty of this, but the warm up before an exercise of any sort, but especially something as dynamic as racquetball, it's imperative that you warm up before you're doing that. And the reason being, it sounds so simple, but the same way that your body tends to cool down when you go to sleep, because it's better equipped then to do the healing process that it needs, is the same reason we need our body temperature and the increase in blood flow that comes with the warm up to occur before physical activity. And so again, this doesn't have to be you sprinting before the game for hours on end. Like you can keep it more simple, but it's almost imperative to help stave off some injury, or like Mike said, some additional soreness that can come about afterwards.
Yeah, I'm terrible at warming up before I start. I don't know. Maurice is much more of an athlete. He probably has a better routine for that.
Back in the day, Mike. Back in the day.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Right. And I know I shouldn't, but I always make fun of, I play every Friday with Dan Whitley, and he probably takes about 20 to 25 minutes to warm up. So he really goes the extra mile when it comes to that. I always have to walk into the court and kind of push him off a little bit. But that being said, the cool down just as important, and it can be similar to a warm up. Like I said, look for my article. I think it's going to drop tomorrow. There's going to be some more tips in there about that. Something that you should be doing after a warm up is some form of stretching. And I always encourage people to do this after a light warm up, because then your muscles and your joints have that blood flow go into them. They're a little more heated up. And one of my favorite things to do as a stretch that's really simple is something that's called controlled articular rotations. Let's shorten it. We'll just call it CARs. Now, what this is you have all these joints in your body, your shoulder, your neck, stuff like that. You take these through their full range of motion rotation. So you can see my neck right here. I'll show you a brief example of this. What it's going to look like is I'm going to take it down, bring it around town, kind of bring it to the shoulder, extend back all the way around. And what I'm doing when I'm doing that, I'll do it for my shoulders, my legs, my lower and mid back, is that you're basically saying, hello, joints of the spine, wake up. We're going to be doing some stuff here. It's time to move. And so the warm up is great for the muscles. That's great for the joints.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I love to do. And then Lastly, what I wanted to touch on, like I said, just chattering away here, but
Sure.
I have some slides here of 3 of the kind of core strength exercises that you can do that don't require any weights or any bands. I know this photo, and this picture was taken of me a couple of years ago, so you'll have to forgive me there.
Okay.
But this is one that's really great if you're dealing with any shoulder strain or rotator cuff strain. Oftentimes in racquetball, obviously we're using our shoulder a lot, but one of the problems we see is that because so often we're swinging from this position where our shoulder is in more of a jeopardous position right here, we really need to build up the strength of the surrounding musculature there. Okay. And one of the easiest ways you can do that is with internal and external rotations of the shoulder, like this this picture is showing here. And in my article, I'll say that you don't need to have a band. It's helpful if you do. You can just use a water bottle, or even you don't even need weight, but you can bring your arm in and out, and that's just going to strengthen those core stabilizing, those little muscles that are around your rotator cuff, which will kind of stabilize it when you're putting it in this jeopardous position and doing that constant swing there. So that's one of my favorite ones. And then the next one that we have here. This one is called the bird dog. So as you can see, this lady here it kind of makes you look like a bird dog, almost a hunting dog or what have you. And one of the things about racquetball is that so much of the power of your swing is derived from the bottom up, from your core, from your hip rotation, all of that. And what the bird dog does is you start on all fours, and then you're going to go with the opposite hand and opposite leg in almost like a arm elevated, slight glute squeeze hold for a couple seconds. And this is really going to activate not only your shoulder joints, which, you know, we want to work on the stabilizing muscles there, but also your core, your low back, your glutes, all of the above. And so it's not obviously simulating a racquetball swing, but it's really working on your whole body and core stabilizing type muscles too. And I'm trying to give people things they can do at home without, you know, maybe their gyms aren't open right now, but these are just little things that you can work on in addition to the other ones that'll be in the article. But then lastly here we have the third one, and this is called, another fun name, this is called Dead Bug. And so as you can see here up top, the lady looks like she's a dead bug, like kind of in a dead cockroach or spider position there. And so this is almost the reverse of the bird dog. And so, you know, for example, some of my patients have knee issues, and so they're not able to do the bird dog. And so I'll refer to them to this one. They both work similar but different type exercises. This is going to be more ab focused, whereas the other one might be more glute or shoulder focused. But this is similar. You can see that you're gonna get one arm up, same deal, and you're gonna lower the opposite sided leg, and then you're just gonna reverse. And you know, if you do this for a while and you do some of these holds at the end of this, you're gonna feel this one, especially in your abs, you know, kind of the top part of your leg, your shoulders even too. And so these are once again just great core stabilizing type muscles exercises that we can do for the full body here as we're trying to get back into the court, and maybe not just wanting to hop back in, start trying to do some of these before you get swinging on the racquetball courts there.
Wow. Okay, that's great information. I really appreciate that. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Brendan, thank you so much for coming on. Love the energy and the information. I think it will help people out. Very simple exercises and stretches. And I know I need to stretch a lot more before I start the Dan Whitley time may be a little bit long, but hey, it works for him. That's great. He's still playing, and
right.
Really appreciate that.
So wait, good question. Will you have a booth at the festival that's going to be coming up?
We haven't discussed that yet. That would be a great idea, though, since it's right down the road for me. So I'll have to we'll have to have a conversation about that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we certainly expect to see you there.
Oh yeah,
playing hopefully. Are you still playing some racquetball?
Yep, gonna be playing a lot probably.
All right.
Yep.
Good deal.
Awesome.
Well, really appreciate your taking time to come on with us. Hopefully it helps everybody out. Everybody gets some information out of that. And we'll look forward to seeing you in St. Louis.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for everything.
See you guys.
Brandon.
That was some very good content. None of those. I might have seen the dog bird one before, but I've never even heard of the other two before. So that was interesting.
Good stuff. And when people start getting back on a court, and I myself last week, first time I've been on there in quite a while, I jumped on like I've been playing every other day and I was sore the next day. So yeah. I need to work on stretching more. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Hey, we're on the same page here, Mike.
No, not quite the same page. I'll give you a year or two, but not.
Hey, this is all just for men here. All right, just for men.
All right.
Well,
let's jump into our last topic of the evening. It's really kind of fun. We're going to get Connor Shane to come on and join us. He's the national director of events, and he and I just spent a couple of days in St. Louis looking over some of the venues and the events and the places. So we'll welcome Connor onto the show.
Hey guys, what's up?
How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I guess first question is, are you back in Colorado Springs yet?
No, I am not.
Tell everybody why not. They might find that interesting.
Gosh. No, I mean, if you haven't been watching the news, it's a Snowmageddon 2021 in Colorado. So no, I am still stranded. But that's okay. So DIA closed, and that's the difference, right? So Denver got hit harder than Colorado Springs, but I live in Colorado Springs, but I flew out of Denver. So my car is currently buried under 4 feet of snow, and the airport was closed. So I went from St. Louis. I got some friends here in Dallas, so I flew here, and I've been working remotely from here. But yeah, my parents got 3.5 feet, Fort Collins, and got a ton. I mean, it was a lot.
That's why I live in Georgia. Ain't got to worry about that. I never got to worry about snow, ever.
And on top of the snow, you had some real strong winds that piled it up in bad places, I hear.
Yeah, 30-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, and so the snow drifts, depending on where you got the accumulation, some snow drifts were 7-8 feet tall that were covering doors.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, but it's 70 degrees in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of hail and some tornadoes close by this afternoon, but no snow. So, let's jump into the fun stuff. Yeah.
Now you're going to respond anyway.
Yeah, let's do the fun stuff.
I didn't figure you'd made it back to Colorado yet, so that's all right.
No rush.
Let's talk a little bit about the festival. We've, as I was mentioning, you and I spent a couple of days in the St. Louis area looking at the host hotels and they call Westport kind of the celebratory area, the party area. So let's start off with Connor. If you want to talk a little bit about the dates and kind of the order we're going to run this in, for all those that haven't heard yet, this is a topic everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah, of course. I mean, so the festival that we talked about last time, obviously, tons of info out. Not all of it, right? So the info of the dates and the hotel link is out. We got all the hotel contracts taken care of. The venue information's out. We're going to be posting a map to drive times, and then every time that we get info, we're going to blast as fast as possible. So the whole festival is going to be hosted June 3rd through June 12th. So I'll have a couple of days of move in, right? A day of move out. And then the epicenter is Westport Plaza. So this is going to be this athlete village. Super excited about it. I've actually never been there before the site visit, which I guess technically I'm still on because I haven't made it back yet. But I'm not in St. Louis anymore. But so it's awesome. I mean, from my understanding, it was historically like the place to be, in the 80s and 90s. And it got hit hard by COVID, but it's perfect for what we want, right? The space that is centralized. You don't have to cross roads. You don't have to take Ubers, right? You stay in those hotels. There's restaurants, there's bars, there's comedy clubs, there's all kinds of stuff to do, right? And you never cross a road. You don't get in a car unless you choose to go off site. But that's the epicenter, right? And so the festival is built around this idea of this epicenter where we want to put everybody. And so if you click on that hotel link, those two host hotels, the Sheraton Westport Plaza and the Sheraton Westport Chalet. So the Chalet and the Tower, Plaza Tower, the two host hotels, they're right on that plaza. They're right in the athlete village. And the other hotels are very close, right? But I'm talking like you can throw a rock out the window. Please don't do that. And you will hit the other hotel. But so they're fun, man. I'm really excited about that. And then the dates, we already announced national singles will be that first, that first trifecta, I guess, if you will, the 3rd through the 6th. Then the doubles will be 6 through 9. And then juniors will be 9 through 12.
Okay.
And it was really interesting. I had never been to that part of St. Louis. I've been to St. Louis several dozen times, but I'd never been to that part. And it was really interesting. Both of the hotels are really nice. We stayed in the Chalet, really nice, upscale, great restaurant. They've got a really nice big bar, nice rooms. And you literally walk out the door, walk around a corner, and you're in this Westport Plaza area. And there were, there was like Fuzzy's Taco restaurant, which we didn't get to go to, but I understand that really good margaritas.
I did.
We did go to one of the restaurants called the Trainwreck.
Yep.
You mentioned the comedy club. Everybody's going to look in their player bag. We're working on getting some special deals where we think we're going to get a free ticket for everybody to go to the comedy club that while you're there. I don't know. Some of the other restaurants, there's a sub shop, sushi restaurant.
We've got Dino's Deli's out there. We've got the pizza, Emo's Pizza's out there. We've got the Drunken Fish, Kobe Steakhouse is there. Everything from the top end, right? You got the nice steakhouse there, and you got Fuzzy's Tacos, which I love going myself. You get breakfast there. There's plenty of stuff to do, and a lot of the hotel contracts are already negotiated in with breakfast. So the idea is that you take care of your stuff. You go to the venue. The host venue with all the Team USA events is 1.5 miles from the athlete village. That's going to be where all the back and forth is. And then Veta Concord is going to be the majority of just bulk matches. And we'll get a map out. That one's not too far away. And then Veta West will be overflow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, assuming because you've booked these 2 hotels, what is the benefit of staying in a hotel that you've, knocked away for everybody compared to staying one off-site, right? So take like a U.S. Open where it could be cheaper to stay off-site versus staying in where you have blocked off rooms to stay at.
Right. So that one's a great question, Maurice. The easiest way to answer that question is that we would love for you to stay in the hotels, but the stay to play model is garbage. I think it's garbage. Some sports succeed with it, but the idea of forcing an attendee block to stay in your hotel and to stay in your hotel negotiated rate, otherwise they get disqualified, to me seems like leading with the stick rather than the carrot. And that's a poor way to run an event, in my opinion. And that's not what we're going to do. What we're doing is we have spent months organizing these contracts, and we've got great deals in some fantastic hotels. Some of that's COVID, some of that is they want business and stuff like that. But the benefit is that those hotel rooms are directly fed into the sponsorship we get from the city for the event. So the more people we can book in our hotel, the more money the city pay us, and that's in 2 different facets, right? So one of the facet is the CVB, which is paid off of tax and heads and beds, and then the other facet is the sports commission, and the sports commission runs off of sponsorship. But if we can come and say, look, I've got this many people in our hotel, then for us, that allows me to go back to the city and say, hey, these are the people that are here. This is how many people that we brought in. And so that helps us with the sponsorship. So no, I would never force. I would never be like, look, you're going to be disqualified if you don't stay in the hotel. But I would love for you to stay in there. We worked hard to get the discounts in there. And it does go back to USA Racquetball. The more people book those hotels that are in that group housing link, the more benefit we get to that event.
And that money goes right back into the tournament. That's the benefit of it. It provides us with an opportunity to give more benefit to the players, make the event a better experience. There's a lot of different things we can do. I see a question, and I've been asked a couple different times. We've had a couple questions about people wanting to ask about shuttles. We're working on it. We're not certain we can do that. There's a couple reasons why we may or may not be able to. One of them is just simply because of COVID. We're not sure that if we're allowed to put that many people into a small shuttle bus that close with COVID. So we're working on it. We've got a lot of information, and unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we're kind of behind on getting all of this put together. So we're working really hard, really quick, and we'll be providing more information as we get things built out. So just kind of stick with it. Watch for, be sure to follow USA Racquetball's Facebook page, the newsletter, and this show. We will be putting a lot of information out. So,
and I think it's important to touch on something you said, right, is that normally all of this would be, very easily flowed and happy early on, right? I'd love to have this contract done a year in advance, but we're in a pandemic, that hasn't happened. We've got a whole year of cancellations and postponements. And unfortunately, that kind of window of, hey, can we do this event? And are you willing to contract? It's been question marks for months. I mean, over a dozen months, it's been a question mark. And then all of a sudden we got a good contract and the hotels were on board and the venue was on board. And it's like, okay, well, did we get a final answer? Can we do this? Yes. We're about to 12 months of planning to 18 months of planning into 3 months. And so I think it's important that we get info and we're going to launch it. I'm going to be happy to launch it as fast as possible. But obviously, in a normal year, we handle the festival. We put everything out as fast as possible. Everything's on the website right when we announce it, and you guys can do whatever.
Yeah. We would never have done this in this order.
Never.
We announced the festival 2 weeks ago. Typically, and like you said, we would be a year ahead of this. We would have everything in place before we ever come out with this. Well, that's not possible. I mean, even just like you said, a couple months ago, couldn't do it. So a couple other topics we want to hit. We're kind of into overtime, but we're going to stay in this overtime. We're going to play this extra game because we have some really cool information we want to talk about. The time. One of the aspects that we're going to work into this, because we're doing singles, doubles, and juniors. So we're going to have all three of the U.S. team qualifying put together in this one event. National singles, there'll be a qualifying division for singles. National doubles, there will be a qualifying division for doubles, and juniors will be the qualifying event for our U.S. team for juniors, which is kind of a cool concept. Not done that. It's always been multiple events. We're going to wrap it up into a 10, 11-day event and name our entire team in that span of time.
No, I agree. And with that said too, I mean, you touched on something really cool. That festival idea is that we're going above and beyond to push value add items into that athlete village. And so right now I'm working on a couple contracts, and I don't normally like to announce things unless they're solidified, but we're in such a weird year that we are going to push for that yet. But the idea of getting live music, we've got a couple people already prepped for live music for bands. Lots of the ceremonies and the award ceremonies, the Hall of Fame and stuff like that, we're getting taken care of. And then discounts left and right. So the goal is that when an attendee comes in, they feel taken care of, and they feel that there's a lot of stuff to do in this festival. There's a slew of discounts they can get if they want to go to the zoo, if they have a day off and they want to go to a nice restaurant and get a USA Racquetball discount, they can. And that's the point. That's why it's a festival.
Really
pretty cool.
And we're working in a lot of different areas to get a lot of different things put together. So, like I said, normally we wouldn't ask everyone. Just kind of bear with us as we build this event. We promise that it will be fantastic. The venue is really amazing. We toured the sports clubs, went to the J, as you mentioned before. That's where all the team qualifying will happen at the J. We have access to 4 of their courts most of the day, and then we get they have 6 total, and we get all 6 of them in the evening. So we'll play a lot of matches there. Both of the Veta clubs, really nice clubs. Those of you that have been there for high schools and such, a lot of courts, a lot of racquetball played there. It's a good facility.
And there was a couple questions I wanted to address. So I saw the one from Dick and I saw the one from AJ. Some of that info, I'm really looking to get that R2 site built by the end of this week, So I'm obviously chasing my tail now that all the venue contracts and hotels are taken care of. But to me, it meant more. And I think some people were in agreement, it meant more to announce the location than to announce the final and those dates before I waited till all these were taken care of, Because otherwise we'd be at this point right now and none of it would be announced. So we're going to do our best. I'm going to try and get it done by the end of this week. And like I said, we're rushing. It's just complicated to try and deal with 3 different championships and figure out what divisions are being held, how they're being held, what is the discount for potentially multiple divisions, all of these things.
Right. So in the R2 site, are building it now. We had to have contracts on the venues and all of those kind of things before we could start it. And there are just a couple little things we're working on that need to happen before the site actually goes live. We expect to have it up in the next week, 2 weeks max. Like you said, just a couple of contracts we need to get wrapped up. There are a lot of complexities in running these 3 events, one right after the other, and they're kind of going to blend over a little bit.
Right.
Which divisions do we have? How do we incorporate some of the opportunities for some of the juniors, the high schools? How do we get them to compete in this in a fair manner? So there's a lot of questions we're still working through. The site will be up soon in plenty of time. Nobody's going to get left out.
Right. And to bounce on that too, we got to keep in mind, national high schools and national intercollegiates were canceled.
Right.
Those athletes didn't get their championship. So we are very purposefully trying to have that discussion about how we can help these athletes get some sort of comeback to play.
Right. Absolutely.
I will say, as a player, I would prefer a well put together website over a website that was rushed just to get information. Because then if you have to go back and change it, well, then I might have planned for something that you've told me that I can't do. So I'm not, picking sides or whatever. But for me, when I'm going to go look for something, I want it all to be concise because that's what my plans are going to be on. I might not go to the website for however long because I've already found what I'm going to be looking for.
Right.
So for me, I'm going to appreciate that you guys are willing to say, hey, look, we'd rather take our time and get this thing right than try to rush something and give you all an incomplete product. So I would say thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, and I think Mike's in agreement. It just doesn't sit well, in my opinion, to announce something and change it, right? That's not fair. When you're talking about a national tournament and people are coming from all over, they have to make plans. And so I'd rather have the one answer that's well thought out.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's how we're going to do things. We're going to make sure they're done right, absolutely the best we possibly can, and rather than rush it. So there's no real hurry for it to be out today. We want it. There are questions that we have to get answered, and we will figure out those answers. And then we'll have the site up here shortly. Yep. And when it is, we really want everybody to be able to have faith and depend on that's been done right. So, all we're asking is just be patient. We're working through, as you all know, we're still in a pandemic. This is not the normal way we do business, but we absolutely want to have this celebration. We want to make it the best we possibly can. So, stick with it. Keep watching for more information. We'll have the website out shortly. We had someone ask us before, why combine the championships? Is this a one-time thing, or are we going to do this forever? Well, we're dealing with the pandemic right now. This is this year. The championship, the festival, I think, is a great way to handle this year's challenges. Next year, we'll look at how things go this year, but I expect us to go much more back to a normal format. I think the festival is going to turn out to be a really fun event. So we may work that into our normal championship series somehow. We'd love to have something like this each year, but it won't be the same. It just won't. There's no reason to. National Doubles being in Tempe is a wonderfully successful tournament. So why would we change that? Next February, Connor's already working on the schedule for next year. Mm-hmm. We're still, a lot of the universities are still closed, so we're still up against the same challenges we've had, but they're going to open up soon. And when they do, we will attack it and come up with a schedule that will be really what everybody's looking for. So, again, I'll ask, just kind of be patient with those things. We'll work through those. This is a one-time event for this year. Let's worry about next year, and let's get through and have a fantastic celebration for this year.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for bringing me on. I'm always happy to answer.
Thanks for answering some questions that even I had. I appreciate it.
I'll shoot an email too. Same to everybody. If you guys have questions, Maurice, Mike, you have questions, anybody, send me an email. I'm happy to talk.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. Well, Connor, appreciate your stepping in. Hope you make it home safe.
Yeah, thanks.
They need somebody to help shovel snow, so you need to get back to Colorado.
No, I'll wait for that.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a good evening, Connor. Thank you very much. Maurice, what do you think?
I think I'm the more and more we talk about it, I think the more and more interesting, I'm not gonna say interesting, the more interest I gain in it. One, because it's the first way we've all ever done it this way, and then two, of the extra incentives to go, like live music or the blocks being so close together. I mean, that's something that I think I can look forward to. And then it's always being talked about a festival and a celebration, and not just, hey, we're going to be playing racquetball, come play racquetball. And, there hasn't been it's not really pushed to, just try out for the U.S. team. It's, hey, let's come have some fun with each other as a family. Let's try and get back to sing and have some fun. Racquetball is fun too, but for me, you spend 20% of the time on the court, 80% off of it. Let's try out. Let's try and meet some people, have some fun.
And the site visit we just finished it just blew me away. This place is so cool. Everybody's going to really enjoy this. There's a place called the Social Club. For those that aren't from St. Louis and don't know, look these places up in the Westport Plaza. There's this huge, call it a sports bar just because that's the best way to describe it, but it was really more than that. And they had all these shuffleboard tables and bocce ball and huge bar in the middle of it and screens all over the place. And it's just when you walked into it, what I saw was corners and pockets. There's a lot of areas of all these racquetball players sitting around, laughing and having a good time, talking about years gone by and all the excitement they've had and the things they've done. To me, that's what I remember about tournaments. And I love the competition is fantastic, but it's the getting together with your friends that you haven't seen for a long time, that have moved to a different part of the country, and you get to go hang out with them for a few days and compete on the court with them, go out and have a dinner or something. But this place is really neat. Everybody's going to really enjoy the atmosphere. Like I said, we're going to get this put together well.
Okay.
So, couple things. We'll wrap this up. We're into a kind of a long overtime, but I think we'll have a segment on the show. Each episode, each game, we'll have a section on it, and we'll talk a little bit about more we've introduced about the festival. So, if you've got questions, send them out. We will answer them as soon as possible. But watch for the newsletter. It's coming out tomorrow morning. A lot of good information. I saw a sample of it today. They are doing a really good job putting this newsletter together. If you're not receiving it, let us know. We'll help get you signed back into iContact. We've had a lot of people contact and tell us they've not received it. It is a wealth of information about everything that's going on in USA Racquetball. So please let us know. Email communications@usaracquetball.com, and we'll make sure that you're getting the newsletter. We put a lot of work and effort into it. We want to make sure everybody's getting it in their email box. Don't forget to vote. The board of directors vote runs through the end of this month.
Please vote.
If you've not done it yet, log in. You do have to be a USA Racquetball member to vote, and you have to be 18 or older. So please go in and vote. If you want to have an effect on leadership in USA Racquetball, this is your opportunity. Get involved and vote. And if you're concerned about the way it's going, put your name in the ring and become a board member. We're always looking for new board members. As you know, the board turns over very regular. So we've got new leadership all the time. Watch for information about Game 16. The next episode, we may be changing either the date or the time a little bit, because that Monday is a board meeting, and Stuart and I are kind of required to be there. So we may change the date or the time of the next show to accommodate the board meeting. So keep an eye out. We'll get some information out here before too long once we decide exactly what the best way to do this is. So, Maurice, any parting thoughts? What do you think?
No, I think everything was great. But like you said, I want to reiterate, if anyone has any questions, send them in. If they don't want to send it to whoever, direct message me. please. And if you want to remain anonymous, let me know. I will do my best to get these questions out and get them to USA Racquetball and try to bridge the gap. That's what I'm here for. So please send questions. If there's any concerns or anything, let us know. Like, we really want to know.
We really do. And Maurice, that's why I love having you on the show, is you bring a different aspect to it. Player, you've been around the game long enough that you know kind of what's going on and how things are. And we're really making an effort to improve things a lot. So if you don't want to send it directly to USA Racquetball, send it to Maurice. He'll bring it to us.
Absolutely.
We'll get your question answered and help you out.
Yep.
All right. Well, Maurice, thank you very much. Great show. Appreciate all your input.
Absolutely.
And everybody have a great evening. Thank you for all the questions and the comments. Share the feed. So as we post it out, keep it going, and we'll see all of you soon.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.